Welcome to another meeting. It's great to see all of you here. So many familiar faces. Alex Reed, welcome back. We also have, let's see, Addie, welcome back. We also have lots of new faces. Sam, Richard, Mark, awesome. Irene, very good to see you. Brian. All righty. Well, this is another week and another session where we're hosting a little, just one-on-one, basically session about outranking. Answer your questions and just reveal any additional features that we've been working on. The team has been really busy and we're busy like every single day submitting new stuff. So I know that there's going to be a new upcoming release very, very soon. And this is what Pumpkill is going to talk about. But we also recorded this session. So the session is going to go out today. Not just recording of this session, but also recording of previous sessions. If you haven't gotten an email yet, recording is also going to go out today of this session and a few sessions in the past as well, if you are interested to check it out. But I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to live stream it to Facebook right now, and I'm giving the floor to Pumpkill.
Alrighty, guys, everyone. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Just to set up an agenda, there's people who have just joined Outranking and they want to still learn how to use Outranking to create content and outlines. So we'll walk through real quickly how to go about doing that. Someone also asked a question, hey, can you teach us how to create content around a focus keyword and all the clusters around it and target the relevant keywords with it? So we'll quickly walk through how to create an outline with Outranking. And then I will build this out on the new platform that we are launching tomorrow. So you guys are getting the first peek of what's coming tomorrow. And this is full scale. So I'm not going to break the surprise right now. We'll get to it as we move along in the presentation. So let's get started. So one of the topics that I've picked up is ORMUS benefit. And this word is quite new to me as well. So it took me a second to find it, but it's a good keyword that people are trying to rank for and potentially sell products around ORMUS. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I just created a document here and we are going to the first thing. So let's go back. So this is the document page that loads up and we are searching for ORMUS benefit in the United States. So it's potentially a product that can improve your health and some other benefits around it. And it's a very niche keyword that people are trying to target now. So we picked up this keyword and we created this new document. And the first thing that you see here is general statistics about what your competition is doing in terms of word count. This is your readability, what sort of sentences they're targeting, sections they're targeting. Sections are essentially your H2 and H3 tags. So the more sections usually your competition is targeting, that means that there is more depth to that content as well. So you can take that as an indicator, whether you're using meta title or meta title and description or not. So if you have imported your content into the editor, it's a good way to check if if the content that loads from your website has the essential tag that it needs for the search engine or not. Then there's exact searches. So these are the related keyword data with volume that people have targeted around this particular focus keyword. And what we see is that some people have not even targeted any keyword, while the maximum amount of keywords used is 6. So this is a solid opportunity for you to create content around, target more keywords, create better content, and rank for it. How many links they've given outbound. So it's not essential, but these are the links that they've given outbound. Sometimes linking to higher authority websites can also improve your page authority. So doing that mindfully is also important. Then what sort of images they're targeting. So I see that a lot of people are targeting images in their content. So this could be related to a product they're selling or some benefits they're showcasing, right? It could be anything. All right, then we come to the setting, which is the AI writing strength. And you can do the rewriting. So this is for rewriting purposes only. This is not the GPT-3 function. We will go through the GPT-3 function that we have built out in the later part of this webinar. So this is essentially only going to work for rewriting tool. And we'll get to the rewriting part when I show you guys. Content format, you can change that to pillar page or a regular page. So if you're targeting tons of keywords and a very short tail keyword query, then you want to potentially create a pillar page that can rank for multiple long tail keywords and do many other things. And if it fits in your strategy, but let's keep it to regular. Even with regular, you have a definitive fighting chance to rank for this keyword, provided you have some other off-page statistics to figure it out. Okay, then it is analyzing 20 pages by default. You can edit and add your own page URLs as well to collect the research from. So Outranking is not only an SEO or content writing tool, it's one of the well, it's one of the very good ones, a research tool as well, that lets you research on content and come up with ideas and insert them into your content, rewrite them, so etc. So if you have certain URLs or PDFs that you think have really good content that you could use to create your content, you can insert those URLs and it will collect the information from those URLs and bring it into the editor. So when you're creating the content, it sort of guides you with that data as well. Let's close it. All right, so let's jump right into creating content. So for instructions, we can create a meta title. So what this is essentially saying is that this is the only keyword that most people have used in their content. So let's go and see some ideas. So before even I go here, I'm going to go here and see, all right, so these are the only two keywords that people have potentially used in their target, in their title. Some people have used it even twice. So, okay, so we know that we need to target these two keywords. And these are some of the titles that people have created around Ormus benefit. So what we can do is we can say quickly, all right, so Ormus benefit, focus, energy, motivation. This seems good to me. So I could say, and we can always come back to it and edit it based on the other information that we get for optimization. So, okay, let's go back here to instructions and see what other things that it is suggesting. So, all right, so we use benefits over here. Let's go ahead and just refresh the score. So it tells you what you're using here. Okay, so we have passed this requirement and we got a checkbox. We've passed this requirement, we got a checkbox as well. So, all right, we can see there are other keywords that we can target with this or not, right? So there is definitely health over here. So complete guide to Ormus health benefits. All right, benefits. Okay, so is there something that I'm missing? No. Okay, all right, perfect. So we have targeted one more keyword with it. So also, if you see, Ormus is an oil actually, right? So people search for this, but people could also search for this. So sure, Google can figure this out on its own, that Ormus is an oil and that this tightly aligns with it. But adding that particular keyword to it will give you a leverage on being found faster. So let's see oil. You can obviously make this fit. So I'm just trying to optimize as much as I can. This is 76. So if it is 76, then Google is potentially going to show your first 60 characters, and which is awesome because you got all your targeted keywords in those 60. The remaining still counts. They will not be shown, but they are definitely influencing your title and how you get positioned in Google. So you can go a little beyond that. Just don't go too crazy on it, but you can still go beyond the 60 characters. So, all right, so now we have the meta title and we have meta title figured out and we have both the check marks. So now we go to meta description. I'm going to show you the tactic that you can use manually to create this. And then I'm going to show how you can use AI to generate the meta description for you. And then you can quickly adjust it as well. So that's one of the new features that we're bringing out. So let's construct the meta description ourselves right now. Look at this. Somebody has like literally posted their entire content in their meta description. So great, let's ignore that. Okay, so has monotonic gold, white powder. Okay, so maybe not. All right, what is Ormus benefits alkaline mineral? Maybe this is good enough or maybe it's not. I'm just trying to find something that I can understand. Most of these things are, okay, there's many other things that people have mentioned. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna even go here. I can go here and I can see that, okay, so if I am targeting this first 10 keywords, which is great, Ormus benefit, state, gold, body, and atom is what most people have talked about in their content. Meta description for ranking for this particular keyword. So you could identify one of similar concepts over here and rewrite it. So that's one way, or you can also go ahead and create your own meta description and use some of these keywords that are mentioned over here. So you don't even have to come here. You can just go and see instructions and see that these are the keywords that you need to use. And you need to have these keywords in your content. So instead of going around and creating this meta description, what we did was we added a utility to our AI rewrite that creates meta description for you. And it might not be perfect, but it'll give you a chance to get started. And okay, so we have a meta description, pasted it here, and let's see how it ranks, right? So it's good enough, it's not great, and it's because it's not targeting state, gold, body, and atom in it. So now you can go and change this around and add state, gold, body, and atom. This is GPT-3. It's using GPT-3 to learn from existing SERP data and create its own version of meta description. This is more powerful than just throwing a couple of keywords and saying, hey, create content for me. So Just to clarify again, this is using SERP data to feed it in and train it live. And then GPT-3 is giving us live description based on what the post is about. So, okay, all right. So we have this here. You can go ahead and optimize this by going back to instructions and targeting some other potential keywords that you see. So our target it's still less than 160 characters. So you can see, like, if you target some of these keywords in between somewhere here, you could easily reach there, and you potentially even target more keywords around it. So this is great. You can then go to H1 tag. So our H1 tag, pretty same, right? So you can go and click this. What most people do is that they use the same exact version of meta title in their H1 tag. So understand, like, Google loves hierarchy. So having H1 is one of the best practices, but you can also have slightly different variation of your H1 tag to target other keywords if you wanted to. Make it very slight so it's not offbeat and it doesn't look like two totally separate sentences. That's not the point. The point is to create two similar sentences with potential of targeting different keyword. And it's okay if you don't want to do it, but it's a good practice to do it. So let's go ahead and see this. And since we're using Ormus, it's going to give us full points over here. All right. So now we have our meta description figured out, our H1 tag figured out, and we need to figure out our sections. So this is suggesting that at minimum 6 sections are required, and you can go a little higher than that. So what Outranking is going to suggest is the number that's higher than 6, but lesser than 22 for the regular type of content. If you are creating pillar pages, it's going to go more in depth and give you suggestions to create sometimes even more than 22 sections. Okay, so let's go ahead and see some section ideas. And okay, so all right, I see some quick wins here. So access to untapped awareness. No, we don't need this. Okay, let's see what are the benefits. A buyer's guide. All right, so this could be something that we want to talk about. Not this, not this, not this. Let's go ahead and see some of this as well. Okay, so probably not relevant to us. I'll find, I'm gonna find good ones if I can as well. So related products, no, no. No, improve sleep, mood, and body. So these are some of the benefits. Okay, all right, not that great. So like I said, there's not much content out there, which is good. This gives you an opportunity for you to create better content, and I'll show you how you can find some of those as well. Okay, all right, so we are at the end of those 20 pages, and no one has any good content. So let's go ahead and look at some questions. Okay, why take Ormus, right? So now we are talking. So I'll take Ormus. Okay, we can target this as a snippet. What exactly are the benefits of Ormus? Let's go ahead and see some. Oh, wait a second. So I see what are the benefits of taking Ormus. So, okay, make it more precise and target that. Same sentence. Then let's go here. White gold liquid Ormus. Okay, so it's no good data. What are the effects? So all right, so you like if you are selling Ormus, you probably know a lot more than I do, and you can come up with more sections for this. But again, we can still find more data on what you could potentially target. So here is one more thing that you can target. Okay, super green benefits. This could be a different product. I'm not sure if it aligns with the product that you are selling or not, but you can also target this. So, and then you can obviously rearrange your outlines in any way you. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and create H2 tags. All right. Okay. All right. So let's say, for example, I quickly went through just creating the outline. Now let's go back to instruction. So don't go on my word. Okay. I'm not a subject matter expert in Ormus. So probably this coming from me, don't hold it against me. But all right. So we're targeting 10 sections at minimum. All right. And so we have this checkbox, but we haven't targeted all the keywords that we need to. So monotonic gold benefit. So something is wrong here. Okay, so my spelling is wrong here. Monoatomic. Okay. All right. So we have this. We're still not talking about the oil benefits. And what is atomic Ormus, like something like that, or atomic Ormus benefit. So that could potentially be counted as here as well. So we'll see how it scores up eventually. So we're moving closer and closer to the score that we want. Obviously, you can still, there's plenty of room for improvement in structuring this outline any way you want. So just copy paste it, move it around. But let's say now it is time for you to start creating content. So we still haven't targeted enough questions, of which we can come to later. But let's say now it is time for you to start creating content for this outline. There's a few ways to go about doing this. So, all right, let me show you the AI way first, and then I will show you how you can continue doing it. So there is maybe a small bug, but let's see. I'll select this. I'll go to AI rewrite. So what we build out in AI rewrite is a way for you to address any question in feature snippets. So this is state of art. An instruction type feature snippet. It could be a definition type feature snippet. It could be a short answer type feature snippets, right? So you could create any of those with some of these utilities that you have here. So what are the benefits of taking Ormus? This could be maybe a step-by-step or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So what I could do is I could create an instruction type feature snippet, and it will generate a list view of what I should be targeting or what goes around it, right? So, okay, all right, so this, all right, so, right, so you get the point. And let me just go ahead and change this to paragraph. Okay, visibility. And you have like almost how many? 8, 9 benefits of Ormus. 9 or 10 benefits of Ormus, right? So reduces harnesses. What are the benefits of Ormus? Let's just, okay. All right. So this is what are the benefits of Ormus. And you can start elaborating this after this particular section. So this will get you ranked for feature snippet. And that is what we are trying to aim for. So let's say now you wanted to talk about this. Why take Ormus, right? And this may be an answer instead of a definition or anything like that. So a definition would be what is Ormus, or some technical topic or anything like that, like PHP, or what is a database, right? So database definition. You could use to create definitions like that by definition, but this one is more aligns with the answer. So let's create an answer. All right, so we have an answer here. Let me just go ahead and change this to paragraph. Okay, Ormus is a mineral additive that is supposed to purify water, right? It could be something else as well. Ormus, just gotta watch out for it sometimes. But okay, all right. So you have a precise definition of what is or why take Ormus. So here's something that you can do to create feature snippets around it. So now let's say you started doing this, right? So there's a few ways to start creating content. So we majorly focus on research. If you go to research, there are some statistics here, but what research is really useful is for finding out what your competition has written about something. So if you want to see what people have written about take Ormus, you could just select this and it will go and find wherever people have mentioned why take Ormus, right? So now you can understand like this is an elongated format, and you probably want to take data out of here and insert it back into your content editor, right? So we're not suggesting that you copy and paste anything. What we're suggesting is that you use inspiration from this content and create better content from it, add more value to it. So you can take this content and then you can go ahead and rewrite it. Now, this is the rewrite feature that I was talking about in settings of SEO score that you can use to rewrite content. And this will create a unique version of the content that you just gave it. It will also correct all the sentence construction issues and like any grammar issues that you have in your sentence, it will auto correct it as well. And inputs are like really good. And for English, it is amazing. For other languages, it is still improving as it's learning, but even they are quite good as well. Okay, so let's say you started doing this, you started building out your content, and now you want to add additional information to it. Then there's other things that you can do here. You can start creating paragraphs by just going here, and it will read the content that was already written on the editor and then add more value on top of it. So this is a pretty amazing feature to let you continue writing paragraphs and build paragraphs. But the point is not to let you create like the whole thing out of the box, because that just does not work. You need to start constructing your content in a way that is going to add value. And oftentimes when you have a huge blob of content, we start taking shortcuts. So in order for you to create the best content, go outline first and then start nailing out each and every section. And as and when you add more value, the AI will adjust to what you are writing instead of just relying totally on its common sense. So the better content you feed in as you go about creating content, the better content you will get in output. So if, let's say, you're providing that 20, 30% input value into this editor and letting, the software do remaining of it, that is still probable. And you can still come up with very good content. But again, add value. It's super important that you add value and not just blankly rely on any AI out there, right? Like there's tons of tools out there. So don't blankly go and rely on any of these tools. All of these tools use GPT. So the data source is the same. It doesn't really matter how one's performing versus the other. It's the approach that you take when you create the content that will create a distinction to your content versus all the other guys who are doing the same thing. Okay. All right. So now we started constructing our content, and let's go ahead and see if our score has improved, decreased, right? So our score is like relative to what you do here. And as and when you start approaching 95, it's going to get more and more difficult for you to reach that 100. But I would suggest anybody who's creating content here, it is definitely possible to create all content pieces with a ranking potential of 90 plus. That will really make sure that you are targeting all relevant keywords and everything that you need to in order to rank for that particular keyword. So some people also had questions around research. And people have been like often getting confused with what research is. And most people think that this is all that it does is provide the statistics around what your competitor score is, domain authority is, page authority is, backlinks is, and word counts are. But when you expand all, it pulls in the content from each and every individual page to let you do the research. And it will also pull in content from the custom URLs that you're fit in. So it can be really a powerful research tool to help you create those long form pieces very easily. Okay, so let's go back to instructions real quickly, right?
Well, really quick, there is a question from a couple of people. Why did the score go down when you added more content?
So the score did not go down when I added more content. What I did was I removed one of the topics and changed it into a regular tag, a paragraph. So that's why. So let's see why our score dropped, right? Okay, let's go back to sections here. Sections, okay. So we're targeting 12 sections, so this is great. Oh, okay, all right. I took away some of the keywords that I was targeting exactly with the target audience. So once you start targeting this particular keywords, and this is very few, so it's gonna highly penalize you if you don't use one. So it is essential that you use all of these. I think I was using benefits or must oil benefits. Oh, this is an H1 tag. Never mind. That's why. All right. So this was let me create another one. There was a title here. Okay. Yeah, that I deleted. All right. Let's go ahead and check. There we go. It's gone up. Or most spoil benefits. Okay.
Awesome. I think this is good enough. Question from Brian. While AI Write is in beta, will it count towards our lifetime deal word count?
Oh, what again? 1 second. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out. Okay. All right. So what was the question? So AI rewrite.
Characters, writing characters, will it count towards the lifetime deal word count?
Yes, absolutely. It will count towards that. And so the reason for to not let it generate a bunch of junk data is why we have very well defined the outputs of these things. So it just doesn't generate a bunch of crap and then you have to rewrite it. So use it appropriately to build out the content. But yes, it will count towards it. And I know many of you guys are are worried that, this is nothing. But so consider this, right? Like 10,000, even if you consider an average word count of 4 or 5, so open GPT-3 says 4, right? So it's still 2,000 plus words, right? For a smaller account. For bigger accounts, it's like 50,000 characters, so it's still more. There will be ways for you to make up more credit. And Natalie is going to announce that later tomorrow as soon as we make the release. But consider this, guys. So getting the research done is a cost. Having backlink data and all of these is a cost. And now running GPT-3 is an added cost, right? So it's an ongoing cost based on how much you utilize for this, right? So we're adding tons and tons of value into one product. So when you're comparing hey, you know what, there's niches out there or someone else out there is giving a lifetime deal for GPT-3. They're only doing GPT-3, okay? They're not doing the SERP analysis, optimization, and figuring out all of these, a thousand other data points that we collect to other APIs. So it's a significant cost when you combine this together. So we have to go very wisely in giving out characters. But what we are going to do is we are going to launch some programs where people can make up, tens of thousands of characters on rotational monthly basis. So, then Natalie will announce that. There will also be a very small add-on for lifetime deal, lifetime users only. It's going to be discounted. So it's not going to be available to everyone. Whoever registers for a regular package, they will not get the benefit of that discounted characters. So the add-on that we are building out for this is going to be heavily discounted, and you should be able to get enough value from that add-on to create, I don't know, like 10, 15, 20 pages if you wanted to.
Pankil, so regardless whether it's in beta or no, it is counted towards the...
When we roll this out, it's not going to be in beta. It's been approved. So the reason why we've been waiting and we launched in beta is not approved by OpenAI. It is approved by OpenAI as of 2 days ago. So we can take the beta out. It's not a playground anymore. It is a definitive tool that can help you create some of this impactful content.
Awesome. Sam actually did pay attention that some of the characters and sections were removed, and that's why the score dropped down. Sam, good job. Looks like we don't have any other questions here. Oh, one question from Kaisar. He's asking, are there any good news for a lifetime deal for characters limit increase? Pankil just mentioned that. I'm going to be announcing that. We're working on the plan that you're going to get continuous increase month over month with the characters. Once you're going to complete a few things that you're going to do for, but I'll share with that a little bit later.
Great. Also, so there's a few other enhancements that I did not go through this, and many of you guys have requested this. So let me see if the sections are updated, and if they are, I can potentially show this to you guys. But now, so this is not an updated staging version. But what we have done is we have added the ability to see feature snippets for a particular H3 or H2 tag by just clicking on it. You click on it, it'll expand and it'll show you the snippet of what that content is about. So you can decide whether to include it or not. And many people wanted that. So we've put that. There's also a brand new thing. So history, there's two types of history. There's versions. You will be able to create versions, and every team member, whoever logs in, the version will be filed under those people's names. So you should be able to restore this version, as and when you want. There's also AI risk. So it's clearly not updated, so don't go on this. But there's also AI history. So all the rewriting, all the writing that you're doing, and all the outputs that the system had generated, it's going to be listed over here. So you have full visibility and a knowledge graph of what happened and what you rewrote and what sort of characters you used and everything around it. Any other questions?
Let's see, Brian is asking about plagiarism, and Sorkin is saying that it's going to come out not in this release, but in the next one. How often do we do the releases, by the way?
So see, we, like any enterprise product where you have thousands of users utilizing this product, you would not want to release, more often than a month, because there's tons of workload involved in creating that production environment and relaunching it. But we have been doing every week, right? So we released one last week. We're releasing one this week, and we're moving as fast as we can so that we address all the issues and all the problems and all the feedback that you guys have and be ready with that. So once that is addressed and we feel that now it's the time to slow down and focus on things that can add value in terms of making quality better, getting better data. There's tons of other enhancements, right? Like multi-keyword targeting. So we want to be working on all of those things as well, but we're going as fast as we can. There will potentially be a next release next week as well, where we will launch out WordPress plugin. So many of you are waiting for that. So WordPress plugin coming soon. And maybe along with it or right after that, we're also launching Google Doc add-on. So you should be able to import documents from Google Doc. You can be on Google Doc and export and import documents into your Google Docs directly from Outranking. So those capabilities coming as well.
Awesome. Brian is asking, will our characters roll over if not used during a month?
No, they do not.
Nope. We have Dewey. Finally, I would love to hear from you. He has a question and he'd like to, she says it's easier to explain rather than type. So Pankil, let us know whenever it's a good time for you once you're done, explaining what you're showing.
So I'm done, just feel free to ask the question.
Sounds good. Dewey, feel free to unmute yourself and we would love to hear from you.
Thanks. By the way, I love your product, guys. I've been using a lot, but the question they have, I'm working on this web page I'm building, and I'm using this other software that allows me to this page will vary the verbiage based on where you live. In other words, as someone pulling it up in Texas is going to see something slightly different than people in Florida. And there's a certain product they market which varies depending on where you live. Well, it's obviously an issue if I've got all these different pages that it produces them dynamically, but if they have the exact same verbiage. So I'm using spin tags. Do you know what that is? When I say spin tag? Okay, so that they're not exactly the same. And I'm thinking with all these different choices for meta descriptions and ever, do you know if there's any problems if I have, varies from one version to the next? It's pretty much the same content, but the meta description will vary, the H1 and H2 tags will vary slightly, and the exact verbiage will vary slightly. In other words, if I use this to create like multiple versions so that depending where you are, you're going to see a slightly different version, is there going to be any problems with Google, with ranking, with doing that? Or is it still going to think of it as being exactly the same as these other pages, even though the content will be similar, but the exact verbiage will be different? Does that make sense, what I'm asking?
Yes, it totally does.
I think if I answer that, it will be great.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, first of all, Dewey, I don't advise you to create multiple pages to target local SEO, which are having exact or similar content. Google doesn't like that. First of all, this is very old local SEO tactic, and it has expired. Yes, a few years ago it may work, but now it is not working. So I strongly advise you to not create multiple page for targeting local search, which pages are very similar, and Google understand that very well, and they authorize those pages, and you will not rank well. Secondly, if you want to rank, you should have different contents, not similar contents. And this similarity may not be, let's say, as some number, 80% something. So you have to create more content which is different than the other page. So the outranking platform will help you to create more content in a scale of mass. It will not be an issue to create in a less time. I think it's not just only about let's say you have some meta title, meta description different, but the page content is the almost same. No, it will not work.
So if I'm doing like different pages for different states, because
yes, I know this tactic, it will not work, and it's not working anymore.
I need to show different content for different states. So if I just make them completely different.
Yes.
All right. Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dewey, was I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Dewey, or how do you pronounce it?
It's Dewey.
Awesome. All right. I was right.
I'm American, but I grew up in Europe, and with a name like mine, nobody could ever say it right. So I just got used to whatever people called me.
Awesome. You are our regular. So hope to see you next week as well.
Referred a lot of people to this, and I got the affiliate link, and I think I had 8 people get it. So one thing I would recommend, this workflow that you did today is fantastic. I would recommend pinning it to the Facebook page to the top so that a brand new user can go straight to this presentation you just did, because this is a great, step 1, step 2, step 3 for a beginner. I think this would be very helpful for people who just got it.
Thank you so much for recommendations. We're going to do exactly that. James, I see you showed your face. Did you also have a question? Wanted to say something? No. Okay. Sounds good. Awesome. Anyone else has any questions?
Oh, we have 34 participants, guys. I'm sure you guys have questions.
That's okay. If no, then that's okay. I look forward to seeing everyone again next week. Pankil, anything else to add?
Well, can I ask one more quick question?
Yes.
Because you said about this new thing that's coming out that only will be available to the people who got the $199 long term. For the people who got the lower one, if they want this, will they have the opportunity to upgrade and then purchase whatever this other thing coming out is?
So Dewey, no, this is available to everyone. Okay. We're not restricting any LTD users from any of the features like we promised. you guys will get all these features. The only restriction is on characters because it's a significant cost to us to get OpenGPT-3 to work with us. So that's the only cap. Otherwise, everyone's going to get equal benefits.
Awesome. That is very good. What is the best practice for related keywords? Brian is asking.
Okay, so it depends. Like it's a huge question, right? Like related keywords where? In content, in headings, in subheadings, in description, in title, right? What we do is it's a little different, right? Like, so what was the traditional way like so far? You'd go to SEMrush or any of the other tools that you're using, you'll pull out the related keyword data and make sure that you use them in your content, right? So you'd go manually check them and see if you've included them and stuff like that. What we do is slightly different. So what we do is we enter the focus keyword and we gather all the related keyword data around it that people might be looking for, which Google or, which is closely associated with the user intent already for you. So you don't have to go and do that related keyword data research on your own with any other tool. All you need to know is what keyword you want to target, one keyword, focus keyword, and you go about, ranking, like creating content using this. So in last update, we also added this C. So if you're using it in the content, it will show C. If you're using it in one of the headings, then it will show a tick mark over here. So they are differently valued, right? Like for search engines as well. So we recommend that you target this related keyword data that we are suggesting, mostly in your headings, your H2 and H3 tags or bold tags, right? To let Google know that you are emphasizing this particular topics in your content. So that's the best approach. But yeah, certain places you also need it in the content in a natural way. So feel free to include them, but you don't need to go and do any additional research. Let's say you are a power SEO person, you want to optimize even further. You want to create potentially, a very strong pillar page that has like tons and tons of keywords and is like 15,000 words, right? So what do? That's why we added this feature called Add Keywords, where you can actually add another set of keywords. So I right now said ORMUS benefits. I could say ORMUS side effects, right? Or I could say ORMUS alternatives, right? And I wanted to target those as well in the content. Then I can add that, and it will pull out related keyword data associated with that particular focus keyword and insert that into your related keyword information here in Outranking. Let's say if you have a SEMrush and it's a post that is bringing you 100,000 in revenue every month or every year, right? You want to be very careful with what keywords you target. In those cases, you can also curate your own list and enter it, separate it to add and score for that as well. So it's a power tool. You don't really need this in order to create ranking content, but it's just different approaches for certain users who want that flexibility. Also, like related keyword optimization. So there's a few things that you can do in our software as well. So let's say you wanted to see like why take ORMUS, right? Or I wanted to see benefits. Like what are the keyword or keywords that I can target which are around benefits? So I have a very optimized title. You can double select this and it will automatically filter out all the keywords which has benefits in it. And then you can choose what content you want to probably talk about inside it, or surround this particular H2 tags with, and probably even create H3 tags underneath, which has some of this relevant keywords in it. So this is how you use related keyword data. And if you're a beginner to an advanced user, you don't really need to go there to add keywords, but in case you need to, it's there.
Awesome. Dewey is saying I would start here. And by the way, check out the link /videos and then check out these webinars that we're currently doing, which is awesome. Alberto, I see that you raised your hand. If you have a question, go ahead and mute yourself. I think I muted you. Sorry, I wanted to click the button. I asked to unmute.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I just arrived at this webinar about 10 minutes ago. I was late. I don't know if you have already answered this question, but my question is about the new AI write function. Is it now operational or not?
Okay, all right. So we showed an entire demo around our AI writing feature. So what you saw was in beta. Now this is going out of beta and we've restructured it, okay? So now you have the ability to create more powerful content using AI. So you can generate your meta description and score it, right? And then change it around and make it even better. Then you can continue writing paragraphs over here.
Great.
Right? It will continue writing paragraphs here. then you can also create featured snippets, right? So I created a featured snippet here for this particular question using instructions over here. You could also answer questions. So let's say, for example, I'll write it down here just so you can see it again. Let's say definition, right? So ORMUS definition, or not definition of ORMUS. So I mean, ORMUS might not have a definition. So I'll just write ORMUS. And I want to know what ORMUS is, right? So you can create a definition type feature snippet on ORMUS, and it will create a featured snippet definition type, which talks about what is ORMUS, right? And you can potentially rank for it. Then it can also create instruction type feature snippet. So I'll take a very basic word and say repair car tire, right? And I want to create a feature snippet that has instructions on it on how to repair a car tire. So I could click here, it will go and also create a featured snippet that is instruction type. There we go. This is still in staging server, so don't go on some of these things here.
So it's working now, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Cool.
I'm not able
Thank
to
you.
not paste it. So it will, right. So it's actually gonna work even better. And with some of this added advantages, instead of just like write, like that's not specific enough. This is specific to some of the use cases. So it will give you instructions on how to use them, whether it is by selecting the topic or whether it is just continue having it, right? So things like that.
Cool. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Why is asking, is using AI writing tool good for creating basic landing pages?
Basic landing pages?
Yes.
That depends whether you are adding value or not. If you're not adding value, then no. But if you're adding value, absolutely yes. But you have to guide it again, right? So you're going to have to do a better job at creating those first 2, 3, 4 paragraphs to give it a context before you start letting the AI write some of these things. So it's important to give it good context. If it has good context, it understands what you're trying to write, then it's going to really help you write better.
Write releases tomorrow. Sounds good. Alrighty, that's been it. I know a lot of people are asking like they didn't get an email. I think we sent out email yesterday. If you didn't get email to yesterday, another one is coming out today with recording of this session and all previous sessions as well. If there's anything else, feel free to message us. Also, one more question. If anyone wants to share your use cases or how you using Outranking, just like did last week, like he jumped in and he shared how he's using Outranking, any tips and tricks, go ahead and just message me either on Facebook or you have my email as well. And I would love to add you here to the session for a few minutes to share how you use Outranking and any interesting use cases. That is saying your webinar is very good. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will see you next week. By the way, one more question, just so that I know. Are calendar invitations helpful? Would you like me to send out calendar invitation to all of those sessions every single week so that you don't forget, or you're doing this yourself and you're adding it yourself through Zoom? So just drop it in the chat and then I'll know whether to send it or not, because if people don't want it, I'm not going to spam it. But if you think that those are useful, I'm definitely going to be doing that. So people are saying, yes, please send this, send. Okay, send. All right, send recording. Yes. All right, I'll be sending calendar invitation to all of you then. Sounds good. All right. Lots of people say yes. Thanks a lot, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week and the weekend, and then we'll talk again next week.
All righty. Have a really good one, guys. Bye.